welcome to Georgina Life. The intro is a little bit different today because in light of the tragedy on Friday in Saskatchewan, we are actually very blessed, very humbled, very honored to have with us an alumni of the Humboldt Broncos. We have Joseph Paul with us today.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. You're with us, and you've just literally gotten home.
Yes.
Off a plane.
Well, actually, off a bus.
Off a bus. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So we were in a hockey tournament down in Nashville when we heard the tragedy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was felt the way down there as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This is a huge, a big, incredible tragedy that is felt, I think, around the world. You were talking about
absolutely, yes.
How the response was incredible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When we were down, and we were one of many teams that were down there. For our team, we striped ourselves out in their colors. We put stripes on our left-hand jersey and on our sticks. The teams that we were playing against honored a minute's silence down there, but it was the level of everybody's topic. Everybody was down speaking about the event, with what was going on. Mm-hmm. So, and then on the way home last night, I was just going through a bunch of things on my Facebook, and one of my contacts is in a tournament down in Sweden, out in Sweden. Wow! And so they were actually doing the same thing that we did out in Sweden, so it's reached the world. It's not just a community thing here. Mm-hmm,
mm-hmm. No, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm. And you were with them for 2 years?
I was, yeah.
You started your career there?
I did. I was, my AAA midget was out in Humboldt, which put me into my first year of the junior there and also into my second year there. Mm-hmm. So I'm and I'm from Saskatchewan. I'm from a small town called Melfort, which is not too far from Humboldt. Again, not too far from where the tragedy actually happened. We were less than 30 minutes away from there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, look at that. Oh, look at them.
Gosh.
So, and you understand, we were talking a little bit earlier about living in a small community and how something like this affects the entire community.
Absolutely, yeah. So Humboldt's a very small town, a small city. At the end of the day, there's less than 6,000 people that live there.
Wow, that's community.
It is, and like a small, the towns and the cities that this really affected has a small population of probably 50,000 people combined at the most. The community embraces these teams when they're out there. Unlike a lot of provincial teams here in Ontario, where they become the net of the whole town, and they're wired in through the community events immensely. They're so involved with the communities, the junior teams I'm talking about, that they become the fabric of the community, which holds everybody together, which is and supported likewise. These small towns sell out their games every game. Humboldt had an arena of 3,000 people. It's sold out pretty much every game.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow, the support.
Yeah.
And then living with a billeted family as well. You have experience with that.
Absolutely.
They become...
Again, you're tightly knit into that community, and you do. When I was there, I was billeted. I was billeted at friends of ours that I was fortunate enough to know before I went there for hockey. A very familiar town and home for me. It was my second home away from home. And we had, you're living with a family, you become part of that family.
Oh, without question.
Yeah. So the tragedy is not just felt within the family. For them, it's their extended family at this point when you're in billets.
And what I just have to share, and we chat about this off break, because what I saw on breakfast television this morning was the people just walking towards these buildings and just stopping and hugging each other.
Absolutely.
Whether they knew each other or not. And I mean, I'm just getting all choked up now. Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that in terms of everyone being there for each other.
I wanted to really quickly touch. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody sees what was on the TV.
Yes.
They didn't see what was outside the TV. The curling rink was full. The high school theater room was full. The overflow area was full. Yeah. The support came from well outside, reaching well outside.
Right.
And really, they have said that 4 of the schools are closed today, and that they're going to provide health services, mental health services,
the counseling, which is so important.
And training today for the teachers who will be dealing with the students who are coming back, I imagine, tomorrow. Or
because the common thread that I was hearing is that, and this is no different for us right now having this conversation, what do you say?
Yes.
How do you, we try to be so careful that we say what is right, and there is no right or wrong.
There is not.
At all. No. It is just a matter of acknowledging that this has impacted everyone, including the world. And I love the fact that you brought that forward.
Yeah, because it's about the hockey community.
Exactly what it is.
Embracing all that.
I mean, and hockey is Canada without question. But yeah, I mean, you were in Nashville.
Yeah.
So I just,
Nashville is a place where they don't normally embrace anything other than their NHL teams.
Yeah.
And everybody, it was on everybody's conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so talk to us now a little bit about traveling on a bus and the fact that that's how it happens. You have to travel.
Yeah. So
especially out there. So tell us about that.
So at the end of the day, when you're in Ontario, there's many different leagues that are involved in the junior rank, right? So until you get into the provincial level, you're very close in proximity, within an hour of each team. Well, in Saskatchewan, your closest team was an hour. So we would go away on Wednesday for our close hour trips. And then we would turn around on the weekends and we'd go on our weekend trips. So now you'd be on a bus to the closest competitor, might have been 4 hours away. And then you travel that night to the hotel, and then you go from the hotel to the rink, and then back home again that same night. So the whole level of transportation, it has to be by bus. There is no other way. So, and at that time you end up having a life with a camaraderie built very, very strong and deep within that fabric, again, of your actual teammates, because you're spending so much time with each other. And it's a lot of pressure. It's not an easy, in all honesty, it's not an easy life. It's a difficult life for a player to be able to juggle the school, the family, and the hockey.
It's tough.
And another thing I wanted to point out too, I mean, on top of all that, the bus travels and stuff, they're on the ice every day. Every single solitary day of the week while the hockey season's on, they're on.
It's a commitment.
It's a massive
without
commitment.
question, yes. Yes.
So it'll, again, a little bit different than here in Ontario, where they only, they're on the ice 4 or 5 times, 5 times probably max. This is their way of life. This is the level of commitment that these kids have and the families have to allow the kids to be able to experience things like what I went through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
But the outpouring of support has been incredible. And the GoFundMe page as well.
That's right.
We were talking about that this morning, and how
it's beautiful to see.
Oh, it's grown. I mean, exponentially. It's amazing.
I'm sure I heard plus 5 million plus this morning on
5 million,
Rogers, which is
so,
amazing.
I mean, that's a lot of people, and I was talking to the people outside, they maybe don't follow the sport, but at the end of the day, this whole event is tragic. It's not just hit the hockey community, it's hit the nation, it's hit everywhere. People feel it. Everybody's got kids.
Well, that's
or grandkids.
These are
And everybody put
children
kids on the bus.
family.
That's right.
Exactly.
For
That's
lots
right.
of different reasons.
Exactly.
Right, as you were saying earlier. Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, that's mode of transportation for any not just sporting events, school kids.
Oh, we went on
traveling.
field trips. I mean, that was a normal year end. You got on a bus and went wherever you went. It was the only way we could do it. I think what has touched me, the last thing I heard before I left my home this morning, was the community coming into the parking lot and seeing the cars still there and putting flowers under the windshields.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. I
Thank
cannot.
you so much for joining us
very
today.
much.
We really appreciate your perspective and coming in and so generously talking to us. Stay right with us. We have lots happening on Georgina Life today.